Hi, welcome to Copenhagen. If you're watching the replay, thanks for dropping by. I am working on the final section of my current project, which is two marine turtles, which have been very brightly coloured. So I should finish this one tonight. Still haven't decided what I'm doing next, but it will be another small one, so I'll guess another 40 by 30 or 30 by 30, something like that. Trying to get some of the smaller ones out of the way before I start back on the big ones. Hi, Carly. Welcome. I'm on the last section. Ta-da. Decided to move the camera back a bit and remove some of the cover so that people get a better idea. I mean, it is sideways, but it's two marine turtles. So how's work, Carly? You working from home? Or are you still on vacation? Still celebrating New Year? You're on last section. Oh, that was quick. Oh, but you're using a multiplayer, so you're cheating. Live in the wild side. Use tweezers. Working from home, not film. Oh, really? I never really had. Oh no, that's not true. I was going to say I never had any problems with the three, but I did actually. The booster, I felt tired for 2 days. Just at first, I didn't really know what was wrong. I just had no energy, and then I realised it was probably the booster. Each section a third of canvas in this one. Yeah. That's the advantage of doing the small ones, even if you're single placing. You sort of progress really fast compared to doing like an 80 by 60 or whatever, the sort of size that I normally do. Yeah, I felt tired the day, 2 days after. The next day, I was okay when I got the booster. I was okay that night, but the next day, I don't know, I just felt really just tired, no energy. And I was the same the next day, but after that, I was fine. I have heard quite a few people saying that the the booster affected them more than anything else. But still, I'd rather do that than get corona without a vaccine. So tired. No, I never had any problem with the actual like vaccine, like the injection. It was just after it, I just felt I was tired. Yeah, they probably put something extra in it. It's probably one of those microchips so they know where you are and what you're buying, what adverts they send you. It's been some Very interesting conspiracy theories. So I just received a message from Post Noah. The diamond painting from Home Craftology is on its way from Germany. So shouldn't be a couple of days maybe. I think that's a 60 by 80. Yeah. Yeah, and I forgot to look for that tablet. So that'll be on the to-do list. Find the tablet, charge it up, make sure it's still working, update the software, guaranteed it needs updated, check to make sure the app still works, and then leave it in the cupboard again until it goes flat. That's probably what's going to happen. The Dreambox. I've heard of the Xbox. I take it it's not the same thing. No, I haven't heard of the Dreambox. It sounds like one of these isolation booths where you get semi-submerged in salt water and disassociate from the world. Or is this another conspiracy theory, like the Matrix? See, dropped it, didn't shoot across the room. It's an expensive piece of furniture. Really? The Dreambox. Okay, give me a second. You know I'm going to do it. The Dreambox furniture. The Dreambox storage, would that be it? Oh, you just sent me something. There's no link. Yeah, epic fail. Okay, I'm just going to go for the Dreambox storage. Whoa. An expensive, you mean it's an expensive wardrobe? Oh, didn't mean that. Is it that? So it's basically a wardrobe that folds out to a library with a desk. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for dropping in. Happy New Year. It's getting a bit late, but I'll say it anyway. Happy New Year. Was that what you were talking about, Carly? Oops. See, I quite like this now that I've got used to these tweezers. When I drop a drill, it just drops like it would fall off a pen. It doesn't shoot across the room. That's because I don't squeeze the tweezers hard at all. Just enough to get the drill. I don't know why I didn't start using tweezers way back. No more wax problems. Yeah, the link you sent didn't work. So basically it's a big white cupboard that opens up and it's got a lot of shelves in it. What? Have you tried IKEA? €3,000. Think of the number of diamond paints you could get for that. For that sort of money, I would expect to put the diamond painting on that table and let the cupboard do it for me. Little robotic hand. Just go and find the drills, pick a drill up, put it where it's meant to go. I'm sure it's been done. I'm sure somebody somewhere has invented a little robot that diamond paints. If they haven't, they should. It'd be quite cool to watch that. I hate that when you drop them on top of drills that have been done. You can't see where it is. So how are you, Michelle? What's the weather like where you are? It is cold in Denmark today, but no snow. Hi, Don. Happy New Year. Okay, so it is okay to say Happy New Year on the 6th of January. So this is going to be my first completion of 2022. I might finish it today. We'll see how things go. Then I'm going to scroll through and see what I've got. Small sizes. Mine's 30. What? Mine's 38. Just going to check. It's 1 degree Celsius or centigrade, whatever you call it. 1 degree in Copenhagen. I think the wind chill might make it feel a bit colder, but we'll see. Yeah, wind chill makes it's -2. That's close. -2. I mean, a minus is a minus, isn't it? -38. Oof. -48 with wind chill. So you're going to go out and do those things where they get the pan of hot water and throw it up in the air and it just turns to ice? Or go into where was it? I saw a picture somewhere. They were in a hot spring and they were getting their hair wet and then flipping their head up and their hair was just going solid because it just froze. quite funny. It definitely is balmy compared to what you've got. That is bitterly cold. I think I've never experienced that sort of temperature. I think the coldest ever that I remember in Copenhagen was the very first winter that I came here. It was, I think it was -24. Yeah, -24. The sea was freezing. The sea froze actually. First time I'd seen the sea freeze. So yeah, that was cold and still pretty warm compared to what you've got. What sort of temperatures do you get in the summertime? Like, what is the extremes? Like, you're saying -38 just now. I mean, does it get colder than that? And what is the sort of hot temperature in the summer? I did notice when I was in Canada that the roads are all cracked. It's like sectioned and a little strip of like tar, like, and then another section of the road and another line, and then cracks and lines. And they told me it was because of the weather, because the extremes, it goes from like extremely cold in the winter to extremely hot, and the road surface can't handle it and it just cracks. This has been, well, we're into January now, but I think December was the warmest December in Denmark since I don't know when. It was actually about 10 degrees Celsius a few days ago, which is crazy at this time of year. Okay, what am I doing now? G 22. Vigo's high is 40 in the summer, in the middle of the country. I'm trying to think what the warmest I've experienced here. I have experienced 40, but it was in like a sun trap, where it was sort of artificially hot, and the thermometer, the outside thermometer was reading 40. But I think if it gets to about 30, 32, that is pretty hot for here. And if it does, it's only a few days a year. It's not like any length of time. The hottest place I've been was Vegas. I went to Vegas in August. Not the best time of year to go to Vegas when you don't like the heat. So I just spent all my time, well, it was the same for everybody. Just spent all my time hotel hopping to stay inside. Just crazy hot. Went to the Grand Canyon. Can't remember what temperature it was. It was just stupid hot. It was like somebody had opened an oven door and I was standing in it. Definitely couldn't live there. I mean, in Scotland, 10 degrees Celsius is t-shirt weather. Temperatures in Denmark are very similar to Scotland. It's slightly hotter in the summer, it's a bit colder in the winter. But in general, pretty much the same. The seasons are the same. Winter time, basically, we hardly ever see the sun. Mexico, yeah, I've never been there. The only place I've been in the States was Vegas. And that's when I was actually over visiting Canada. I went down to Vegas for a few days. I got talked into it. It wasn't on the plan, but somehow we started talking about it and they convinced me that it was cheap to get a flight, so I went. It was really cool. Grand Canyon was just amazing to see. I have never left this continent. At least you're not saying I have never left this town. Yeah, I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. So why have you never travelled, Carly? Is it just something that doesn't interest you, or is it too expensive, or is there any particular reason? I've never been a person that was really that interested in travelling. I mean, I've been a few places, but um, I'm not the type of person that has to go vacation every summer and has to go somewhere sunny and hot, or even leave the country. Since I moved to Denmark, I've never been outside Denmark. I really like it here. I'm definitely a home person. I'm quite happy. Tammy's the same. We're quite happy if we're off and we're just sitting here and sit and talk, diamond paint. In the good old days, we'd maybe go out for lunch or out for dinner or something. I'm not doing that just now. Yeah, I'm not been in a lot of places, lived in the UK. Oh, okay. We're in the UK. When you say the UK, it's just England, isn't it? We've been around the world 7 times. 7? Wow. Hi, Nancy. Welcome back. 7. If you do the weather in Fahrenheit, it's 68 or 20 Celsius. At 2:51. Why are you up at 2:51 AM? Around the world 7 times. Wow. Brewster. We were up in Scotland for a couple of days fixing something at a customer's plant. So what did you think of the UK in your short, brief visit? And where in Scotland did you go? You're good at not travelling now. But I will if we decide we're going somewhere to do something. Yeah, I don't know. We're quite happy. Just like we'll go for walks and things. Just go for like nature walks and just don't know. Just not got that thing to go and visit everywhere. Ontario. Snow machine came and we got 6 inches overnight. That's what it means to. It's weird this when you talk to people like all over the world in different countries, and we're talking about like temperatures and the weather. It's like in Australia, it's summertime. It just sounds weird. It's summertime and it's Christmas. Oh, the Bostros, I'm not sure. Somewhere up north. Was there a big castle on a rock? Was it Edinburgh? I think I would rather have cold than heat. We don't have air conditioning in Denmark because we don't get enough hot weather to really justify it. So in the summertime, basically we just have floor fans and we blow the warm air around the room and try and pretend it's cooling us. That's one thing I don't like. I don't like it's when it's warm in the bedroom. Struggle to sleep. You would have remembered if it was Edinburgh. So was it somewhere dull like Glasgow? Hope I don't get any Glaswegians in. I used to work in and around Edinburgh a lot. I worked for Scottish Water and I worked outside all the time. And Edinburgh was one of the areas that I covered. So I know Edinburgh pretty well. I used to do maintenance work on water supply lines, pipelines, the water that people drink. I used to work on valves that controlled the pressure of the water for the whole of East Central Scotland. So if you were in Edinburgh and you had low pressure, I was the guy that got sent out to find out what the problem was, or if you had high pressure or whatever. But I covered a large area. I covered the Scottish borders, the east coast of Scotland, and then sort of into central Scotland. Today's temperature is going to be 90 Fahrenheit or 32 Celsius. My ideal temperature is about 22 Celsius. That's just right. Anything over 22, getting a bit hot. Into 30, forget it. Into 40s, no chance. Cold-wise, I'm not really that. I mean, minus 38, I suppose, would be a bit different, but I quite like it. Going for walks and things when it's like cold and frosty. It's quite nice. Weren't too many people about there again. We had a couple of long days, so didn't see much outside of the plant. Okay, Don, thanks for dropping in. And have a good. I'll try to remember what time where you are. I forget. Have a good day or good night wherever you are. I always find it hard to remember where everybody is. Unless I talk to somebody a lot, then I tend to remember. I normally just sort of assume when people come in that I don't know that they're in America, because that seems to be where all the diamond painters are. There are a few, like Carly and I, outside America. But if I look at stats for people that are looking at the YouTube channel, I can't remember the percentages, but America is way higher than anywhere else. What time is it for me? It is 4:58 p.m. So 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm used to that as well. People drop in and just say, they come in and say good morning, and I'm like, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But I'm used to that. People saying good morning when I come on in the afternoon. We are Canadian. So you have the Canadian American thing, like we have Scottish English thing. I won't. I won't. 10:58. Oh, so it's still morning for you. I don't know why. Where people are, just it doesn't stick. For example, I'm trying to remember where Angie is, and I can't. And how many times have I spoke to Angie? For some reason, places just don't really stick. And then Ed came in, and I thought he was in Florida, and he isn't. It's Dog Dad that's in Florida. Because all I remembered was there's a guy and he's in Florida. And Ed came in and I thought, he's a guy, he's in Florida. He wasn't. He was in America though, so I was close. I'm trying to remember now. Ed, I think, is in California. Today it is the 6th. Yeah. It is also the 6th here. I was going to ask a food question, and then just when I thought that, I thought about something. Carly, we have cakes called Belgian buns. Are they actually Belgian? Do you know what a Belgian bun is? A lot of times I go onto food because I'm interested in the things that people eat in different countries. What is a traditional Canadian meal? Is there anything that stands out that you'd say, "Oh yeah, that's Canadian"? Maple syrup. And that's only because of maple leaves. I take it maple syrup is an American thing. Yeah, Michelle lives in the future. I keep asking her for the lottery numbers, but she won't give me them. Fish. Fish and French fries. Really? Fish and chips, as we would call them in Scotland. Looking up what that is, and that looks like something I have seen in movies, never had. Okay, so that's a no. Yeah, we have these, well, in Scotland anyway, we call them Belgian buns, that's what they're marked as. And then I just sort of thought about that and I thought, are they actually Belgian? You get them in Scotland. If you go to Greggs in Scotland, they'll help. Or if you go to Asda, the big supermarket. When I moved to Denmark, obviously the first thing I had to try was Danishes to see how different they were. They are very different. We have Danishes or Danish imitations in the UK. They're similar, but they're just not the same, and they're not as big. Danishes are big, and they are better. They're much better. But I've got a funny feeling that Danishes don't originate from Denmark. But they are massive. I mean, so many bakeries in Copenhagen. French fries also aren't French, they're Belgian. I need to remember that. Go to McDonald's and ask for some Belgian fries. I'm say sorry, we've only got French ones. How did that happen then? They were invented in Belgium and then somebody decided to call them French fries. Is that not a breach of something? Trading standards? False information? So French fries were invented in Belgium. Yeah, Belgium fries and fish. We have what we call chip shops. Like we don't call them fries. We call them chips, like chipped potatoes. We have places that we call chip shops. So you can get fish and chips, sausage and chips, pizza and chips, black pudding and chips, white pudding and chips and chips. And that's all they sell. It's like takeaway. Most of them are takeaway. Some you can sit in, but we call it a supper. So, like fish and chips, if we wanted fish and chips as a takeaway, we would ask for a fish supper. Everything's a supper. Fish supper, haggis supper, mince pie supper, whatever. Pizza supper. It's just whatever you say with chips. And they don't have chip shops in Denmark. Hi, Chantel. Happy New Year. How are you up in the mountains? Do you have snow? We call them feed. What? Yeah. Got snow finally, but not that much. You should move to Canada. Take your thermal underwear with you, though. You'll need it. Minus 38. It's -2 in Copenhagen. Well, with the wind chill. In Canada, it's -48 or something like that, the wind chill. What I always think about, like when we talk about these temperatures, like -48 with wind chill, how cold that is, and you think, how do all the animals and insects survive a winter as cold as that? How do they actually do that? If you stuck us out in nature without clothes or anything, we'd be dead. Simple as that. Humans aren't very well adapted for nature. fridges. Fridges. I have some fish in fridges. Fridges. Fish in fridges. No, we had a tiny amount of snow at Christmas actually, but it really didn't come to anything. Features. Look, I have enough problems learning Danish without trying Belgian. I can't remember who was here. I know Carly was here yesterday, and I was talking about companies sending me things for review. And I was saying, like, it's quite nice when that happens because it saves me money because the vast majority of stuff that I've reviewed, I've bought it myself. And when you add it up, plus the shipping, it is mega expensive. I think it was yesterday, it was maybe the day before, that I was sort of spoke about it a bit. One of the companies that sends me stuff sent me an email this morning. I don't know if they'd watched the thing, but anyway, they sent me an email. And I've been using tweezers for a few weeks now. I just use tweezers. I don't use pens. And they sent me an email this morning, Happy New Year, blah, blah. Would you like to review this product? And it's a diamond painting pen. I move over to tweezers and they want to send me a pen. But of course, I'm going to review it. A company that I've never bought a diamond painting pen from, so let people see it. And people can decide if they're interested. So that's typical. I give up pens and somebody wants to send me a pen. Yeah, you could have bought two, Carly. You could probably have bought one for every room. I don't know why it's called a dream box though, because it's a wardrobe. It's not a box. Not quite. I deliberately have not added up how much I've spent in diamond paintings. It would be frightening. Yeah, hobby box, that makes more sense. Yeah, it does make more sense. Because, I mean, if I was a crafter and I was just browsing things and I saw the name Dreambox, I don't think I would actually click on it. If I saw Hobby Box, I would be curious. Like Hobby Lobby. That's a good name. been obsessed since it was Hobby Box. What do you think? You're seriously going to get one at some point? I mean, it is a good idea for somebody that's into like that sort of crafting thing with like wool and various bits and bobs of different things. It's a good way to keep everything compact. Like basically, it's in this cupboard rather than having it in different shelves and things in the room or the floor or wherever. Not really something that would benefit me, I don't think. Not for just diamond painting. I mean, what takes up all the space is the canvases. And then just bags and bags and bags and bags of drills. Oh, I don't know. Well, that'll be the end of that then. You're going to need to move so you have somewhere big enough to put it. Um, just checking on. Never missed any comments. Don't think so. Oh, I did. Fish from the ocean and potatoes from PEI. What's PEI? So, what is a traditional Belgian food or Belgian meal? Fries and steak, that sounds quite good. Quite like that one. What about a normal breakfast? Are Belgians cereal people? Or are they greasy bacon and egg people? Fries and mussels, that is different. I've had mussels, but I've never had fries and mussels as a meal. You eat cereal. I can't remember the last time I ate cereal. And I don't eat like bacon and eggs or anything like a fry up for breakfast either. I tend to just have toast. What I have on it varies. Sometimes it's mackerel and a tomato sauce, like sardines basically. I like that for breakfast on toast. Sometimes it's just jam. Sometimes it's just butter. Sometimes it's pole egg, which is like cold meat, sliced cold meat. In Denmark, it's just basically lumped into pole egg. It can be various different things. Like, could be roast beef, could be ham. It all comes under the same. It's basically just cold meat, sliced. Fries and mussels. Yeah, that is unusual. Cauliflower, potatoes, and sausage. Yeah, Tammy makes cauliflower thing. What about cabbage? Do you ever have cabbage where it's basically just cut into a big chunk, and then it's put in the oven with salt and pepper, and I think it's covered over I was going to say sprinkled, not sprinkled, but drizzled with olive oil. That was actually a lot better than I thought. It was something I'd never had before, and I was like, cabbage. But it's actually pretty good. We have cauliflower quite a bit, and asparagus. But tonight, Tammy's making a stew. Which is quite a nice thing when the weather's cold. Never made it in the oven, yeah. It was something I'd never heard of before. I've seen the chefs at work make it as well. But they use, I don't know even what the name of the cabbage is. It's like a pointed cabbage. Just wondering if I could. 'Cause, 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 I don't know if this is the same. I just googled pointed cabbage and it came up with good like that picture. It's upside down, but it looks like that. It's really, really tight. Doesn't have the sort of loose leaves in the outside. In the UK, when you say cabbage, it's normally round and got dark leaves. So this is, I don't know if I showed this, I probably did, but this is the picture that I'm working on. So that translates to that. If I switch the the light off, it probably helps. Maybe. And then I switch this light to white. And if I move, you can see it's quite sparkly. I looked at it, I thought something wrong. I forgot to switch the light pad on. Light pad, number one accessory for diamond painters. Especially if you've got dark pictures. Missed one. So this has been quite a nice little project. Nice and easy. I can see why people like to do ones sort of 30 by 40, that sort of size. They don't take too long, especially doing rounds. Pretty quick those. Really, I don't actually. That's the funny thing. I was using them. I mean, I was saying the other day about the reason that I started using them, but I just suddenly realised that I had been using them without thinking about it, and then I thought, why switch back to a pen? So I just keep using them. It's just one of these things, though. It's you just practice, and I think it just gets easier and easier. I mean, I really don't think about it while I'm doing this. Now I'm trying to go a little bit quicker because you were talking about speed, and I'm thinking I could go faster than I've been going. But I don't do diamond painting as a race or a challenge. I do it as a relaxation, and it takes as long as it takes. But I really don't think tweezers are any slower than using a pen. In fact, in the long run, they're probably quicker because I don't have to stop. And yeah, I've got a lot of pens as well, and they are very nice. I don't know how many I've got. I'll guess about 35 or 40 pens, roughly. And some very nice ones. And I like them. I like them to look at, which is kind of weird, but I do. I like the fact that most of them were made by people that I've spoke to quite a bit. So I feel as if they've been handmade by people that I know, which I like. Some have been made specifically for me, sort of special ones. And again, I like that. I like that somebody's taken the time to. It's not just I made these 10 pens and anybody can buy them. It's like I've chose what I want them made of, what shape I want, that type of thing. So, I mean, I'm not going to get rid of the pens, but realistically, I think I might use them once in a while, just because. But I really think from now on, I'm just going to use tweezers. It takes away all the pink wax thing, or which wax to use, or how long can you use it without changing the wax. The last one that I got is made of spalted tamarind. It might be in this drawer. No, it's not. It's here. This was my favourite pen. I'll put the white light on so you see the colour right. So I don't use multiplacers, so the pens that I've been getting, I don't want a multiplacer. So this is spalted tamarind. I just really like the fact that every pen is unique, but I suppose you could say that about any of them. The weird thing is that it looks like there's a little guy on this with one arm. Just the way the wood has worked. But I like the natural wood feel, the tactile feel of wood compared to acrylic. I mean, I've got some fun pens as well. I got this one from Mike. He sent this with a kit. I've never used it. It's too. I mean, normally they're too thin, but it's too fat and chubby for me. I don't like it. It's a novelty thing. It's nice to look at. I'm trying to think. Nice pens. I've got a red boxwood. I think it's called. I can't remember now what it's called. It's an unusual one as well. This is natural. It's not been coloured. So, but I don't know if it comes. It doesn't come across that well. Oh yeah, it does. You see that redness? That's natural. It's not a dye. Quite like that as well. That's good. 2 bots in one day. I'm getting popular. One that I really, there's a lot of like, hang on, wasn't as usual. I wasn't planning to do this. Oops. This one I really like. This was from the Diamond Painting Pen Shed in the UK, and this was made by an 80-year-old man, and even the tip is handmade. It's not your normal diamond painting pen tip. It's a solid piece of brass that he turns to make the tip. But really, really nice work. It was last year he was 80. Been turning since he was 16. So years and years and years of experience. But I really like when you see the light, how the light hits it. And I liked that. It looks as if it's a symbol or something, like a little cross. Just an absolute fluke. So really, really nice pen. This is one that I got made, and I had seen the pen, you know, the pens that have got the wax tip like this. You can unscrew them, you can change them. So I can change that, and I've got multiple coloured tips. So I got it done in this blank that has all these different colours in it, and asked if they could make it so I can fit these tips in it. So this was a custom one-off. The thing that I forgot, I never thought about, because I had got one of those pens, you know, the one that's got these tips and then it's got the little spike at the back, pink glittery thing. And I thought, no, that's a different idea, but I didn't like the pen. I like these ones that you see, well, most of the ones I've showed you, I've got this bulb. I don't know, I find that really, really comfortable to hold. So I asked if they could make like a normal diamond painting pen that they normally make me. I've got quite a few from this company, but I forgot about the pin, and I didn't realise what the pin was actually used for in that other pen. I think I've got to remember where it is. Yeah, it was this one. You'll have seen them advertised. You've probably got one. So you've got the wax interchangeable tip, and then you've got the little spike on the end. I didn't really know what that was for, so I asked them if they could make a pen that these tips fitted, but was more in the style that I'm used to. Actually matches the diamond painting pretty well. So that's what they did, and I never really thought anything about the pen. And then I got the pen, and then I found out that the wax is really soft and you can't like push a drill, it starts to damage the wax. And that's what the pin is for. You're meant to place it, and if it's slightly off, you turn it around and you use the pin to push it. So if I had known about it, I would have asked them to fit one in the end. Too late now, but just unique pen. So again, it sits in the rack beside the rest. Pretty Placer, that's it. I couldn't remember the name. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Angie said that as well. You can use it, but that hole in that pen is absolutely tiny compared to. I mean, you know this, but it's just in case somebody else watches it in replay. But the pin is a tiny hole compared to the normal diamond painting pen, so you get a tiny amount of wax. But I know that Angie said you can do that. I haven't tried it. It's too thin. The pen, the physical pen, is too thin for me. I don't like thin pens. And I'm sure I did a review on this, an unboxing or something a while back. But the other thing is, I was thinking, right, okay, so you use this wax tip and you put your drill down, it's not in place, so you turn it around and then you poke it in place and then you turn it back round and then you pick up a drill and then you put it down and then you turn the pen. And I thought, this is a lot of work back and forward. Whereas if you're using a normal pen, you place the drill and if it's slightly out, you just move it. So you don't have to do this all the time. And I thought, nah, not really. Doesn't really appeal to me. And then I like this one as well. This is from Poshy Pens. This was an auction. It was called A River Runs Through It. Surprise, surprise. Again, really nice pen. Didn't want a multi-placer, so this is a straightener that's in the end. And then, I can't remember what tip this is. I think it's a cat-eared stainless steel tip. And I have used it, it's still got wax in it. I mean, I've got pens here, like that one, that red, I can't remember what it's called. Red cedarwood, was it? Boxwood? Can't remember. I don't think I've even used this one, no. This is one of the last ones I got. But when I got this one, I just really like it. So that was the one I was using all the time. But I've got quite a lot of different pens and different woods. Decided I prefer the wooden pens, just the tactile feel I prefer. So that's all the pens that I don't. No, it isn't. I've got a lot more than that, but that's some of the pens that I don't use anymore. But as I said, I might. Oh, wrong button. This light I've got, I can switch it from a white light to a more yellowy orange light, so it's not as much a strain on your eyes when it's dark. It's really handy. I think the most unusual one that I've got is a glass one. and that's the one that my wife uses all the time. It actually came in a really nice presentation box with a little ribbon, I think. Hang on a second, I'll go and get it. So this one, again, so it's light. This one is solid glass, so it's heavy. And the tip just pulls out and pushes in. But it was okay at first, but then it started to get a bit sort of wobbly. So I put a piece of masking tape around the inside of the tip and then pushed it in, so it made it more snug. It wasn't going to fall out, but my wife was saying when she was pressing it, it felt just that little bit of movement. She didn't like it. Didn't always do it. So I put a little piece of tape inside just to thicken it up a bit, and it works. But I don't like thin pens, and you can see that is very thin. I would hold that there, and I feel as if I'm like holding it like all my fingers are all squished into a tiny bit. So I don't like it because it's too thin. She likes it because of the weight. It's heavy, and she likes this narrow bit. So that is probably the most unusual one. Came in a really nice box, wasn't expecting it, and I got it on AliExpress, of all places. And my wife has dropped it twice. I was kind of worried about that as well. It's solid, like glass, and I'm thinking if you drop that, that is the thinnest part at the neck. You think it would snap. She's dropped it twice, and it hasn't broken, but I think she's been lucky. It's the most unusual one that I've got. Now I'm picking up the pens from her rack. This was another poshy pen. It's got seashells in it. My wife likes the sea, so contacted Poshy Pens and asked them if they had anything sea related. So they came up with this. It's got seashells inside it. Then they've got the blue to represent the sea. Pretty cool. And then I've got a few of this style. This one's got little owls on it. I've got one with a mermaid, and what was the other one? Can't remember. Can't remember. These are made of bamboo, and the not the straightener is actually part of the pen, so it's not like plastic or anything. It's actually wood. Thing about these as well is the tips aren't your standard tip, so you can't replace them. But I have seen that they've changed this, and they now supply. I can't remember what type of tip it is, but you can change them. The original ones didn't, but they're made in a way that the wall of the tip of the pen is thicker than your normal one, so they're less likely to crack or bend, because your traditional tips over time will start to wear, especially if you use a paper clip or something to clean out the wax. You don't want to do that because you'll damage the brass, because brass is really soft. But again, just different. I still can't. I've got three of these, the three different colours. One's a nice blue. I can't remember where that one is, but it's quite a nice blue colour, a sort of pastel blue, and then this one, and then a purple. and one's a mermaid. The blue one's a mermaid. The one that I can't remember. No, I forget what it is. But that's made of bamboo, so it's pretty light. And then this was the first one that I got my wife. I got her a necklace, or I bought her a necklace, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. It was handmade in Scotland, and it has green and blue. It's a heart, the necklace, and it has green and blue in the centre. So I got this pen made that's got green and blue in it, so it matches the necklace. That was the story behind that. This is her favourite pen, but she doesn't use it. Ever since she got the glass one. The glass one is her favourite one to use, but this is her favourite pen. And it's a burl, the wood. And then green and blue acrylic. I like the way that these ones, you never know exactly I mean, I didn't know. All I saw was the blank, and then I didn't see it until I got it. But really pleased with the way it turned out. Nice. So the pen show is over. I want to get back. I want to try and finish this. But again, that's what I like about doing lives. It depends who comes in, what they want to talk about. I mean, we've been talking about food and weather, and yeah, I think I'm at 992 the last time I looked. 8 more subs and I'll be at 1,000. It always fluctuates. You get a few and then you lose a few and you get a few, but it's getting there. Just checking. Yeah, 992. So another 8 subs to hit the magic 1K. I don't push it. It's just if people like what they see, they'll subscribe, and they'll come back. And that's what I want. I deliberately never said anything to like work colleagues, friends, family, because I don't want people subscribing that don't diamond paint. I don't want people just doing it just because they know me. It's not the point. I want to be people that are actually interested in diamond painting. Then I feel better about it. It's not just people I know. So I don't know how long I've had the channel. 2 years maybe. So it's taken me 2 years to nearly get to 1,000. But that isn't the main point. The main point for me is maybe helping people probably is the main thing, like newcomers. I've got loads of ideas for videos. Finding the time is the hard part. I've got a lot of stuff that I've bought with ideas behind them, and it's just a matter of finding the time to sit down and do them the way I want to do them, and aim it at the absolute beginner and go through everything and explain why I do things the way I do it. That's, to me, that's the important part. I'm not saying that you can't do it other ways. I mean, we all know that everybody does things slightly different, but I think the thing for beginners is why do you do that way, and explaining it, and then they can think, oh yeah, I see what he means, but I prefer doing that, and that's fine. I mean, the bottom line is if it works for you, that's it. It's not a competition. I mean, I sometimes see things in threads and groups where it's as if they're like, there's a big argument about what is the best container system. And it's like, who cares if it works? Like, here's an option, here's an option, here's an option, here's the pros and cons for that, pros and cons for this, and that's it. But sometimes people get a bit like, don't know, it's as if they're trying to defend the way they do things. To me, it's all I'm trying to do is share the way I do things, and whether you want to use it or use a part of an idea, even if, as long as it helps people, that's purely the point. I'm with you. So because I enjoy diamond painting, I think it's awesome. Yeah, I don't think there are a lot of couples, but we used to do YouTube lives, but Tammy's not that comfortable being on like on camera and stuff. So we took a break, and then I said, "Look, if you're not comfortable at all, we can just drop it." So that's what we did. I really, I don't mind the camera thing, but she she's not that keen, and that's enough. It's like if you're not, I don't want her doing it because she feels she has to do it. So we've just left it at that. But we do. I mean, we've got try to remember the word, drafting tables that face each other. So we sit in here and diamond paint and talk and whatever. It's a really cool way to pass the time instead of just sitting and looking at TV. But I mean, I have a lot of questions in diamond painting. Like, I look at things and I think, why this and why do they do that? And then I start thinking about it more. Um, One of the latest things that I mentioned, I think, in my last video is why do companies not use resealable bags? Why do they give us bags that we have to cut open and then throw the plastic away? And why, when they do give us some bags, like, you get them in a string and then they give you some little resealable baggies, and you've got like 40 colours and they give you 6 little baggies? What is the purpose of that? Why? Why don't you get 40? Why don't you get a resealable bag for every colour? And actually, why don't they come in resealable bags so you're not cutting open bags to put the drills in other bags? I mean, people keep talking about plastic and plastic waste. I mean, we're working with plastic, but the packaging, do we really need bags that we cut open and then throw away? Doesn't make sense. To me anyway. But again, I start thinking about things and I think, why that doesn't make sense. And then why only give us like a little scattering of bags when we've got a diamond painting with big there's actually other things that I'm gonna be bringing up in videos, so I don't want to give the game away, but there are other things that are gonna be coming up, to do with all this stuff. It's just I've been thinking, and once I start thinking about things, that's what happens. It's like the diamond painting pens. I mean, I had been using a pink pen for 5 months and had no problems with it. But I started seeing these pens and I thought, yeah, they look quite cool, and I wonder what the difference really is. And so I ordered one, and then I ordered one for a different company, and that was how the pen collection started. Yeah, but that's something that I'm going to be doing a video about. It just, yeah, I'll get into that when I do the video. But yeah, again, it's just me. I'm that type of person that sees things and questions things, and I've always done it. And I mean, when I was in Scotland, um, uh, uh, when was it? 1986, I think. I went into a pet shop and they had a snake, and I was really curious. So I bought it, and then I kept it for a while, and I started sort of learning about it, like looking after it and stuff. I mean, back then there was no internet, so, and I knew nobody who owned a snake. But it developed and developed, and eventually I ended up doing a series of television shows. I did home visits. I used to visit people with exotic pets. It wasn't just snakes by that time, it was a lot of different things. So I would visit people who had bought something and it wouldn't feed, was the normal thing. And I would go and check their setups, and I would explain, like, what they were doing wrong, what they needed to improve, how to handle things, just everything and anything. Then I ended up on television because of that. I did 20 television slots, um, every Thursday night. Every Thursday night for 20 weeks, I was live on the Lanarkshire television, taking various exotic things, borrowing things from people that I knew, like tortoises. I never owned any, but I knew a guy who bred them, so I managed to borrow a male and female and talk about tortoises and talking about people buying things that they don't know they're buying, like Burmese pythons that get really, really big. People don't really get it. Lizards, spiders, frogs, scorpions, millipedes, cockroaches, a lot of different things. And I ended up doing talks at Edinburgh and Glasgow vet schools as well about exotic animal husbandry. And that all, I mean, that went for, I did the talks and home visits for 16 years. And that all just stemmed from me buying a snake out of curiosity. Other thing is, play guitar as a hobby. I eventually ended up getting a guitar custom built. Went down to England, met the guys in the factory, spoke to them, chose the wood for the guitars, chose the specification, the inlays, all that stuff. Got a guitar custom built. So that's the way that I go. And diamond painting is definitely a big interest. But then I start questioning it, like, just in my mind, I'm like, why am I cutting these bags open to put them in other containers when budget companies like this one, the drills came in resaleable bags that were already numbered. So for a beginner, you don't need to cut bags open. You don't need to put them in any storage system. You just open the bag, use what you need, put it back in the bag. But what's the problem? There isn't one. But there are companies that charge a lot more for their diamond paintings that don't give you a resaleable bag for every colour. I don't understand why. Anyway, back to business. And then when I moved to Copenhagen, I really enjoy the city, the architecture, the history, everything. So I started doing live streams around Copenhagen. I did that for 4.5 years, I think. I enjoyed doing that as well. People just dropping in while I was wandering around Copenhagen, showing them different things, where the Queen of Denmark lives, the Little Mermaid statue, like Hans Christian Andersen's statue, Hans Christian Andersen's grave, the royal palaces where the royal family live, the Queen's yacht, Tivoli, second oldest amusement park in the world. So I started doing that until the platform that I was on, it was called Periscope, it closed down. So that was the end of that. Because when I moved here, I would see buildings and I would think, that must have been something really important because of the architecture. And I would ask people, what was that building? They didn't know. So I would start researching and find out. And then I would sometimes say to people, oh, such and such a building. And they'd be like, what's that? And I'd say, oh, that's where whatever in the past. And they were like, oh, I never knew that. And they're Danish. But it's a bit like that. When you live somewhere, you don't really think about it. It's like when I lived in Scotland, I had some friends come over from Canada, wanted me to take them to Edinburgh. So I said, yeah, no problem. And they said, what's it like inside Edinburgh Castle? And I said, I don't know. I've never been in it. And I was, 35 at the time. First time I went to Edinburgh Castle was with some Canadian tourists. Just walk past it all the time, not really think about it. And I found out that Princess Street Gardens, which is at the bottom of the castle, or at the side of the castle, at the bottom of the volcanic plug that the castle is on, Princess Street Gardens, really nice place to go in the summertime. I found out a long time ago it used to be a lake, and that's where they threw people in. They put them in boxes and padlocked the boxes closed, drilled some holes, and then threw them into the lake and drowned them. I never knew that. It's surprising what you find out when you start researching things. Looking back at the good old days. That was one of the ways they executed people. And then in Copenhagen, they used to guillotine, behead people using guillotines. They had public guillotines scattered around the city. Oh, what time is it? 6 o'clock. Okay, I'm not going to get this finished. I need to take a break. So this will be getting finished, if not tonight, tomorrow morning. So I'll post a picture up on Instagram so you can see the whole thing. And then I'll decide what I'm doing next. Yeah, it's not going to take that long, but how long have I been on? 1 hour and 39 minutes. If I stay on much longer, my voice just starts to go completely. So that's the thing when you're doing these. If you don't talk, nobody stays because there's nothing. But it's a sort of catch-22. If nobody comments and nobody asks me any questions, or just nobody chats, just in general, I don't really talk, because if I do, I'm trying to guess what people want to hear, which doesn't really work. And I like the randomness of the questions. I mean, they're not always diamond painting related. I mean, we went into diamond painting pens that I wasn't expecting to do. But I like that. I like just totally random. I don't know what I'm going to be talking about. It makes it interesting for me. I don't really want to sit here for an hour and 40 minutes talking about this diamond painting. I mean, that would bore me, never mind anybody else. But the other thing that you have to remember is people drop in and drop out all the time. So I might be talking about something, and I end up talking about it a bit later because somebody else asked a question that was related. But I don't mind. If it goes quiet, it goes quiet. I mean, I'm not sitting thinking, "Oh, I've only got 3 people watching." It doesn't really matter. It's more to do with the interaction, people asking questions, talking to people, getting to know people a bit. That's why I do these lives. The reviews are a bit different because they're focused on whatever it is, like a diamond painting pen, storage systems, whatever. They have a specific subject, and then I do that and I concentrate on it and I try and get it done in a reasonable time. Yeah, I love Canada. Really, really nice. But the weather, I'm not so sure. That cold in the wintertime, that is not enjoyable. But yeah, I mean the scenery was fantastic. Just the extremes in weather. But I went to, I think I mentioned it before, something or other ice fields. Went out onto a glacier on these truck things. That was quite cool. I think it's somewhere near Banff, but I'm not sure. You don't get a chance to walk on a glacier in Scotland. Ah, okay. Yeah, it's just a bit too cold for me. I mean, the heat, if you've got air conditioning, I suppose the heat isn't really as big an issue, but extreme colds like that is just a bit too much. And plus the amount of snow. I suppose again it depends where you live, but I know you can get a lot of snow. Colombia, it was Colombia because I was at BC. Yeah, it must have been Colombia. No, I can't remember why. I saw they had whale watching. I think I was really struggling for time. I think that's what it was. I never went out in the boat. I think I was only there a day, if I remember. No, I wasn't. I was there 2 days. First night, I was in the worst hotel I've ever been in, called the Douglas, and I spent all night sitting up in bed watching the adjoining door because when I went in the room, just as I walked in, the adjoining door closed. So I actually tried to get another hotel, but I couldn't get one that night. And the place I went to, they said there's there is another hotel, but no, they said there's a hotel I would recommend that you don't go to. And I looked at him and I said, the Douglas. And he said, yeah, how did you know? I said, because that's where I am. And he was like, oh. So he checked and he said, okay. He said, somebody is leaving tomorrow morning. We'll have a room. So I switched hotels, but I had to spend one night in the Douglas. So I never slept all night. I mean, I don't know if it's like that now. I'm going back, way back. I can't even remember when. 20 years ago, maybe even longer. Yeah, it's funny now. It wasn't funny at the time. I had my suitcase up against that door and I was just listening for it scraping, like moving. But it never. Because there was no lock in the door. Okay, I am tempted to finish this, but I am definitely, I can feel my voice is starting to go. So I'm going to stop. So this will be finished. It'll appear on Instagram tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing next. I'm going to have a look at my smaller ones. I have a lot of them. And I'll pick something tomorrow and then I'll start on that. So, as always, thanks to everybody who dropped in, spent a bit of time, especially the people who comment, because that's what makes these things interesting for me. Diamond painting, Jim, surprisingly. I think I've got, I can't remember. Instagram, 1,696 followers on Instagram. Anyway, I'm going to head off. So thanks for the chat, Nancy. Never expected to be talking about pens, but there you go. So have a good day, and in the meantime, take care, be safe, and wash your hands.